Hello, my loves, and welcome to a new episode of Publisher's Brunch. This is actually the final episode of season 1 of the podcast, which is kind of really exciting. This is episode 16. It has been like 7 months, maybe 8 months of doing episodes. I've talked to some really incredible authors. I've had such a blast doing it, but now it's time to take a little break, to take July off. Well, except for today, but the rest of July we'll take it off. And to recalibrate and come back really, really strong in August for season 2. And I don't know, I'm excited to take a little break and try and figure out ways to make a stronger podcast when I come back. I'm thinking of some guest segments, some recurring fun things, and I've got a lot of plans, and I think you're gonna love them, and hopefully they'll be a lot of fun, and you'll learn about a host of new authors to you, new authors to the world of publishing, and just be really exciting. In the meantime, I am recording this on July 4th, and I will not be wishing America a happy 250th. Simply don't care. I have been a published author for about 10 or 11 days now, which is pretty fucking thrilling. I'm not gonna lie. The book came out last Tuesday, June 23rd, and I spent the day running around town, hanging out with friends, signing books at the Ripped Bodice, and then I went to the panel at Books of Wonder, which was really, I don't even know, it was just a dream come true, honestly. It was really the kind of thing that I've been hoping to do and dreaming about for literally a decade. The first time I went to Books of Wonder was in 2016 for, I think, an Emery Lord event, and I just fell in love with the bookstore and with the concept of book launches and with authors sitting behind the table and chatting about their books and then signing books, and it's been something that I've held in my heart as a dream for a decade, and it finally was my turn, and it just felt really, really nice to be in that position. And I've been really overwhelmed with the people who've shown up to support the book, who've read it and loved it and left reviews, and who've told me even personally via Instagram DMs or emails or what have you that they've enjoyed the book. It means the world to me. Not just that people are reading the book and giving it a chance, but that they're enjoying it. That, I don't know, that's really special. As you might know, I've spent a lot of time doubting myself and my abilities and my skill or whatever. And so to have good feedback on this book that is my first foray into publishing long form fiction, it's really, really exciting. And then, yeah, I'm grateful for a lot of things. I have a lot of things going on and people who've shown up for me in a lot of ways. And one of them is, through this podcast, people listening, people sharing, all the guests who've come on who've taken a chance on a budding indie podcast with no followership at the at the beginning. And so for everyone who has followed on Instagram or listened to one episode or 12 or 16 even, I'm so grateful for y'all for giving it a chance, and I hope to continue growing it in the new year. Well, in August, which is not a new year at all. So I don't know why I said that. I said I wasn't going to wish America a happy 250th, and I'm not, but I am just going to say, it's kind of a gross time to be an American. I mean, it's always been a gross time to be an American, but especially now, and it's just I'm feeling deeply uncelebratory about this country, and I can't stop thinking about Taylor Swift getting married at Madison Square Garden on July 4th weekend and blacking out the windows so no one could see in and closing down streets. It's giving when Trump went to the Knicks. It's that same vibe. And honestly, as someone who's been a Swiftie since I was in 9th grade, I'm really annoyed by it, and I'm kind of pissed, and I just want to say billionairedom rots brains. So write that down. Now you know my stance on billionaires. They shouldn't exist, and if you do become a billionaire, you're a bad person. So there's that, and that's all I have to say on that. I do want to recommend a romance novel before I get into introducing the guest. It's actually more of a series than a novel because I just read Shattered Gods by Katie Robert, which is the 10th book in their Dark Olympus series, and I have been following this series since late 2021, so it's been a full 5 years. Like I read Neon Gods, which is book 1, a couple months after it came out, and I was like, by the time Electric Idol book 2 came out, I was like on board following the series, like getting the arcs, reading them when they came out. I joined Katie's Patreon. I'm such a fan of them and their writing and their work and the way they show up in the world of writers, but also this series is just so good. It's so sexy. It's so ridiculously queer. And it's just everything to me. And this final installment, it brought the whole series together for me in a really beautiful way, and I was deeply satisfied by it. And I highly recommend, if you're looking for a dark, steamy, political romance series, it follows 10 different couplings or pairings or romantic partnerships. There we go. Because they're not all couples. It follows 10 different romantic entanglements, and there's an overarching, really political plot of a city that is falling, and there's, schemes and everything behind the scenes, and it's so good, and I'm obsessed. So, yeah, read the Dark Olympus series by Katie Robert. I'll have a new. And then because I'm not going to be doing another episode after I finish this book, I will go ahead and say that I'm about 43% through Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood, and y'all, she got me. This book has its claws in me. I am a sucker, like unashamed sucker for an age gap. Like I fucking eat that shit up. So the second that they announced that Ali was writing an age gap, I was like, sold. I haven't read her yet, but I'm reading this one, and here we are, and it's just delicious. And there are flashbacks, and I'm loving that. I am a slut for a flashback. I love that so much. So I'm having the blastiest of blasts. And speaking of blasts, our guest for this episode wrote a blast of a romance. So let's dive into reading her bio, and then we'll just we'll chat with her. So M. Stevenson is the author of Behooved, This Treacherous Night, and other novels for adults and teens. Her poetry and short stories have been published in Small Wonders, Podcastle, Crow and Cross Keys, and multiple anthologies. She graduated from Brown University, BA, Geology Biology, and the University of Idaho, MED, Environmental Education, and has worked as an outdoor educator, wilderness skills instructor, and science teacher. She is based in the Finger Lakes region of New York, where she can often be spotted wandering the woods talking to birds and plants. Everybody, please welcome M. Stevenson to Publishers Brunch. Hello. Nope. I'm just going to restart. All right, and hello, I'm here with M. Stevenson. Do you mind introducing yourself and your books to the listeners?
I would love to. So I'm M. Stevenson. I write fantasy and romance and fantasy romance. So kind of all of the above for both adults and teens. My first book that has released so far is called Behooved. It's a fantasy rom-com about a chronically ill noblewoman who enters an arranged marriage and then accidentally turns her husband into a horse on their wedding night. So it's got lots of transformation shenanigans and a lot of kind of bonkers adventures nonsense. It's very fun. I have more books coming out in 2027, and I also actually have a nonfiction guide for debut authors that's coming out in August of this year. So a little bit of a lot of different things.
No, that nonfiction guide is going to be so great because I feel like debuting is such a if you know people, you know a little bit about what it is like to debut, but if you don't have a lot of connections in the industry, it can be really shocking.
Yeah, I should
Um,
probably talk about the book more because I keep forgetting to. But I'm just like, oh, like my next novel. But it's nonfiction. It's called "It Depends: An Author's Practical Guide to Debut Year," and it's basically
real.
answers to all of the most common debut year questions. Because literally, what
Hmm.
I did was I just wrote down all of the questions that people kept asking over and over in both the 2025 and the 2027 debut groups, which I'm a part of both groups.
Hmm. That's gonna be an amazing resource. Yeah, can't wait for that. That's awesome. And how are you doing? This is just like if we're at brunch, we're at the very start of our brunch. It's the appetizer round, if you will. And I just want to know, like, how's it going? How has the past week been, the past month, etc.?
Yeah, this month is overwhelm month. Yeah,
Ah,
mostly for good reasons. I closed on a house at the end of May. So
congrats.
thank you. It's a 150-year-old farmhouse, so it has a bunch of work that it needs doing on top of the moving.
Okay.
So that's been a lot.
Yeah.
And I got hit with like back-to-back deadlines right around when that happened as well. So because I'm under contract for two different books at the same time, so it's kind of been like a waterfall downpour of like everything at once. So it's mostly good
Yeah.
stuff, but kind of trying to not drown here.
No, that's so real. Oh my God. That's so much.
Yeah.
But congrats on the house. That's so exciting. Is it like out in the country, like in a rural area, or is it like a farmhouse in town? I don't
I
know.
think that people would probably consider it rural. It doesn't feel super rural to me because it's only 20 minutes from like the downtown of like the small city
Oh,
where I
perfect.
live by. But one of my friends came over and was like, "Oh, you're out in the sticks." So, like it's a matter of
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, it's like if it were me coming from Brooklyn, I'd be like, "Whoa, there's no one around."
Yeah, for a
Yeah.
city perspective, I'm sure it'd be very rural.
Okay. That's so cool. Did you always like living out of like as how did you wind up buying like a farmhouse? What led to
Um,
that?
yeah, it's a good question. I think it was more just like what was available. So I was looking with my husband, and we both like really wanted some acreage. So we ended up this one has 4 acres attached, which I'm very very happy about. So
Mhm.
we knew we were going to be a bit outside of town because you can't get that right in town. I mean, maybe if you have like a million or $5 million, but
Right. Who
certainly
does?
yeah. So, and I wasn't actually that keen on getting an old house, but that's kind of what it's like around here in upstate New York. Like, there's just a lot of old farmhouses. So it just happened that this one came on and we
Mhm.
liked it and we really liked the property. So here we are.
Nice. Oh my God, I love that. I don't have a lot of experience with like older houses in America, but I grew up in Italy where you it's like impossible to find not an old house.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so
I'm
I grew
sure
up
150 years old is a baby house in Italy.
well, like our last apartment that we lived in was built in like 1900 or something, so it was just like 100 years old when we moved in. It was very like just like a classic like New York building, not New York, Italian like apartment building. But I just like I love them. Now I live in this like got renovated, newly like restored apartment as of 2020 and I'm like where is the creaky floors? Like where is the like funky colors? Like come on. So
Yeah.
love an old house.
Yeah. Lots of history.
Yeah. Awesome. I have some icebreaker questions for you. As you know from right before we recorded, I forgot to update the question list with what they are, so I'm just going to pull from my memory. And I would love to know if money were no object and like you could get whatever you wanted in terms of conversation partner, venue, location, etc. What would your dream book tour look like?
Hmm. I'm really not too much of a traveler. Like, I don't really like being outside the
Okay.
house. But I would
Fair.
love to do an event at the Ripped Bodice in Brooklyn sometime
Hell yeah.
because it just looks like such an awesome store. And
Yeah.
I would also love to go to London and see my UK publishers.
Okay. Those are great options. The Rich Bodice, Brooklyn is like one of my favorite places in the city, honestly. It's just like really vibey and cute, and also they're also lovely there.
I really need to
So
make it there sometime.
yeah, definitely. I emailed them a little bit before my book came out to be like, hey, do you want to put me on your list of moderators for events? I can talk to authors. I'm real good at it. Also, I have a book out. And they were like, Why not? So I'm just like sitting here and I'm like, maybe someday I'll be like a moderator for a conversation at Third Bodice.
That'd be amazing.
That would be the dream. Um, what about this? If you had any item like from your childhood or from your family history or just like that kind of stuff, like that you could put in a museum, how would you like what would you most want to memorialize from your past?
Hmm. Gosh, that's a tough question.
I know, isn't it?
um, I guess like this is gonna be an odd one. Okay, so my grandpa on my dad's side was like he went to China a lot like during the Maoist era, and did
Okay.
like a lot of not like ambassadorial work exactly, but like he was studying education differences. And
Oh,
one of
interesting.
the things that he brought back with him was a lot of gifts from people, which included some like Maoist posters.
Oh,
So like
wow.
I think like I wouldn't put them up in the house, right? But like I think it
Right.
would be fascinating as a museum item because like
Yeah.
there are these really like very propagandist, images of like, Chairman Mao with like all of these like, adoring peasants and whatnot. And I think that they'd be just like a kind of fascinating thing to have in a museum.
Definitely. Yeah, that's kind of the dream answer for this question because it's like a piece of history and also like you can learn a lot about it and learn more about like what life was like
Hmm.
in this country and in this time that many of us weren't around for. Most of us even, dare I say.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Oh, wow. Um Okay, so that's our appetizer round. Now we're gonna move on to the entree, which is like a cute little heart to heart. Because what do you do at brunch? You're like one mimosa in, you're with your besties, you're gonna start spilling secrets. Now, of course, you don't have to spill your darkest secrets, but you can if you want to. But first, I would love to know, do you have any romance and or romance like genre hot takes?
I think probably my biggest hot take about romance should not be a hot take at all, which is just that we need more diversity in romance. But
No,
I'm going
yeah,
to
that
say in
should be the
particular,
coldest of takes.
yeah, I'm going to say in particular, I get really tired of male love interests who all have perfect
Mhm.
bodies, quote
Mhm.
unquote perfect. But there's only so many times that I can read about, like how, how like rolled up the Henley is, and how ripped the abs, and like the
Yeah.
muscular thighs. I'm like, come on, like they all kind of blend together at a certain point.
Yeah.
Like let's like give me like some weedy guys or some soft guys.
Like some like just like really gangly like tall,
Yeah, because I think like
yeah.
with romance, like what I like to see is like what makes them the perfect love interest for that character. Not like what makes
Mm.
them the most attractive man or lady.
That's such a great point, and I've been having a lot of conversations both on the podcast and not on the podcast about like people wanting to self-insert, and I think so often it's especially in MF romances, if the like male love interest is that sort of like prototypical like attractive man, like chiseled features and like rock hard abs and all that stuff, like it sometimes that is the correct love interest for the female main character, but sometimes it's like that is just so that the straight women who are reading it will like be attracted to the character. And
Yeah,
it's an interesting thought to be like, what if you wrote someone who like your main character is devastatedly attracted to, but not everyone else is, right? Like, and then you have to have the skill as a writer to like make that person alluring and attractive so that by the end of the book the reader's like, that's the dream man, that's the book boyfriend.
yeah. I think like one of my favorite things as a romance reader is when I read, like either a description or a scene or anything, and I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm absolutely not into that, but I can see why you are.
You're like, not for me, for you though, happy for you.
Like this makes sense for you.
Yeah, no, that's real, that's real, that is. And I think that this like every day I realize more and more that I might actually just be a lesbian, which listeners of the podcast will have been on the journey with me for the past 6 months of like lesbian to bi to like who knows. But I'm like, yeah, I like don't think men are that attractive. So like you have to work really hard to like make me attracted to a man. And then I was like, maybe that's just that you're just like not attracted to men. it's not their problem. It's just a, beauty in the eye of the beholder kind of thing. um, I would love to see my romance hot take that I just came up with on the spot is I would like to see more people, not necessarily, I would like to see more discussion of like book girlfriends as like whether it's the love interest or even the main character, but people like hyping up the females, oh god, the like female characters in romances as like hot and like aspirational and like oh my god, she like did something so cool. I would love that. And I know not everyone is into women as women, but I can't relate to that. But like I can read a book and be like, what a great book boyfriend. Like, even though I wouldn't want to date him
Mhm.
myself. So like my hot take is we should bring out the book girlfriend and
No,
have
that's a
that.
great point because I feel like even when people are talking about how much they love the characters in a romance,
Mhm.
like they're usually not talking about the female main character.
Mhm.
Like they
Yeah.
might say some things about her, but they're usually like talking about the book boyfriend. They're not talking about
Yeah.
how much they love the lead.
And it's like it's one thing when it's like dual single POV where it's like okay, you were in the head like first person single POV, you were in her head like obviously you're going to be thinking like you're going to be maybe identifying with her and not like being attracted to her, but with even with dual POV like or third person dual POV male female male male romances like people are able to find like either of the men or the only man like attractive,
Hmm.
does that make sense?
Yeah,
um so yeah, the hottest take in the world, people should give sapphic romances and also women in romance and in regular books so much more grace.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. um I would also love to know a good and or hard, so you can do one or both, like moment that you've had in publishing lately, and lately is very like broad, like could really be any time in your publishing journey.
Yeah, let's say, yeah, I can do both. So I have been working on my young adult books, which are not
Mm,
romances, but do have like a romance subplot. It's a
mhm.
fantasy heist duology,
Ah,
which is very fun. So my good moment
awesome.
is I saw the past pages for the first in the duology recently. This was one of the deadlines I was hit with, and they are
Yeah.
so gorgeous. I had asked for a different like header for each point of view character because it's multi-point of view,
Mm,
and they like absolutely delivered. I did not get a preview of this. It just dropped into
oh,
my
shit.
inbox, and they're just so gorgeous, and I'm really excited for that.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that.
Hard Moment is also about the same series.
Oh
The,
no.
the sequel has just been kicking my butt. I have not written a sequel before, and oh my gosh, like it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I am just starting to outline the sequel to Nat and Cammy, which came out on this past Tuesday. And I'm like, oh, now I understand why people talk about the sophomore book slump or like how hard like a second book in a
Yeah,
series is because the Nat and Cammy was the like sixth book I wrote and or like sixth completed manuscript, and I was like, so I've written a second book, like it's fine, I survived, I passed it, and it's like, no, it came for you regardless.
yeah,
Like,
it really does. It doesn't matter like what number book it is, like it's going to
no.
come for you.
Yeah, it's like the sophomore book slump curse is like, no, you cannot escape me.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild. Okay. Are you like have you got the first like a draft of the sequel or are you still working through
Yeah,
that?
so I finished the first draft and I did a big revision because nobody sees my first drafts because they're just absolutely messy. This one was particularly messy. So
Fair.
I revised the whole thing and then I ended up just punting it to my editors early with the message like, help me.
Nice.
It's like, I know there's so much wrong with this, but I don't know how to fix it. Now it's your problem. Please help.
No, real. Yeah. Okay, good. I hope they have some amazing ideas for
I'm sure
like
they will. Yeah, my editors are great
yeah.
for the books. So
Yeah.
hopefully they have
Nice.
ideas for how to fix it because I got to a point where I was like, I know it needs help. I just don't know what to do.
Yeah, been there too, where it's like the book could be stronger, but I need someone to like have new eyes basically
Yeah.
um to see it through. Yeah. Okay, so let's chat about some treats, some dessert treats. And I don't know how much of like a research person you are, so I changed this question from like research rabbit hole to just like bookish or writing related rabbit hole. But if you do have something you've learned recently in research, like feel free to share that. Basically, just like what is your latest like hyper obsession related to books?
Yeah, I love doing book research. It
Nice.
depends on the book how much research I actually do, but I always end up doing a little bit at least, especially when
Yeah.
I'm more inspired by like some historical period or other. I would say my most recent research rabbit hole is one that I've gone down many times before, which is pirate
Mhm.
history.
Ooh.
Yeah, I have been obsessed with pirate history pretty much as long as I can remember. And the obsession has reared its head again. And at the moment, I'm actually reading like pretty much the closest thing that we have to a like a first person account of piracy, like from the golden age of piracy. So
Oh wow.
it's this book called gosh, it's some long title like a history of the infamous pirates or something like that. Um, but it's by an author who nobody actually knows who he was. Like the name of the author is Captain Johnson, but nobody knows who like the real dude was. Like if that was his actual name, people thought that it was like Daniel Defoe for a while, and then somebody
Oh
else
wow.
disproved that. So we don't actually know who this dude was. He might have been a pirate himself. He might not have. But
Mhm.
it's basically an account of like the lives of all these different pirates, and it's actually been like fairly historically verified that like most of it is fairly factual.
Oh
But
wow.
one of my favorite things from this, I'm not very far into the book, but like so far, one of the funniest things that I found in it, like it's kind of hilarious in general. But there were like these excerpts of letters, basically back and forth from like the British to the Spaniards in the Caribbean, and the Spaniards were like hiding these pirates basically. And the British were like, hey, like give them back so we can execute them. And the Spanish were like, oh no, we can't do that because they're good Catholics now. They've converted.
That is so I feel like that is such a perfect like encapsulation of religion throughout history,
Yeah.
right? Like you're either forcing people to convert or they're converting so that they can be saved,
Yeah.
basically.
And like, I'm sure that it was actually like, we don't want to give them back because they're making us a profit, but like,
Oh, for
this is our
sure.
viable excuse is, they're Catholic, so we can't possibly give them up.
Right, like we would never let the English execute good Catholic citizens.
Exactly.
That's so funny. Oh my god, do you like reading like pirate fantasies or
It's a bit hit or miss for me. So I think the
okay.
thing is, I'm much more interested in the actual history than in the romanticization of it. So like,
Fair.
of course, I love a lot of the like pirate movies and stuff, and I've actually watched a lot of like the really old ones, like from like the 40s and 50s.
Cool.
And I was obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean for a very long time. I'm still obsessed with it.
Of
But
course.
I think a lot of the fantasies and a lot of the books and movies. I'm a little bit more forgiving with the movies, but like with the books, a lot of them just feel really under researched to me. Like they just
Mhm.
don't feel real, or it feels like it's like some idea of things, or you can tell that the author doesn't know things about, like, for instance, the tides are not at the same time every day.
Right.
And that it
Yeah.
just throws me out a little bit too much.
Okay. I did you ever read the Remixed Classics series that Macmillan put out?
I've read a couple of
Um
them.
did you read A Clash of Steel
I
by
have not
C.B.
read that
Lee?
one.
That was the Treasure Island perchance remix and I really liked it and it was very interesting because I learned and I mean I am not an expert so I don't know how much was true to the reality of history, but it was pirating in like Asia, like so not in the Atlantic
Yeah,
Ocean, which is where I know like I think of it, but so it was like a Chinese pirates and it was very interesting and I loved it.
yeah.
And it's also sapphic, so there
Ooh,
was that.
okay. Yeah, and I should say there are like some, pirate fantasies and
Yeah.
stuff that I do like a lot. I'm just very picky about
No,
it.
that's for sure, for sure. That's just what I thought of because I think I read like the author's note or something about like the real character, and I was like, oh, that she must have done like good research then. So, yeah. Oh man. Pirates. There's a lot of pirate books I feel like coming out. Like as S.A. Chakraborty just had her second book.
Yes, I haven't read it yet, but I loved the first one in that series. It
First one
was
was
so good.
so
It was
fun.
so fun.
It was so fun, and it's so wacky too. Like
Yeah.
it starts out and you're like, "Oh, what a serious book," and then you get to the end and you're like, "What?"
No, it's
I
just like
loved
it's a
it.
joyride. I adore that book.
I know it's so good. I really wanted to go see her event for the second book, but I wasn't able to make it to the Strand that day. But I am really looking forward to getting it and reading it. Yeah. Okay. Oh my god. I read this. I was like looking at the question and I read it as like most gilded and I was like what an interesting question. No, no, no. Giddiest. Like book publication memory. So somewhat different than like a good or hard moment, but just like when do you remember feeling like the most like bubbly high that you've had in your publishing journey?
Definitely when I got my first book offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my submission journey was definitely a long one. I queried for a very long time before getting an agent, and then I
Mhm.
ended up having to leave my first agent for various reasons.
Mhm.
And then I signed with my current agent, who was amazing. And we went on submission in January 2024, and
Oh
I'd
wow.
been on submission before, so I knew that it's, you usually wait for a long time, and, some rejections float in,
Mhm.
but mostly it's a lot of waiting. So I was very surprised when she called me 2 days later and was like, "We have an offer."
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think like when you're working towards publication, like you have in your head like this abstract of the book will be published someday, like that's the hope. And when you get
Mhm.
your agent, then it's like another step on that. But it felt
Mhm.
completely different from like getting an agent to be like there's actual like a real life publisher out there who is offering me money to publish this book, and it's like it's really
Yeah.
going to exist. I think
Oh my
like
god.
I basically just didn't stop bouncing the whole day. Like
I bet.
yeah, I like literally bouncing up and down. I just kind of like went bouncing around the house. I have like a smartwatch that I like track my activity on, and it was like you've hit your steps within like an hour
Oh
of getting
shit.
your call because I just
That's
couldn't
so
stop
funny.
moving.
Yeah. Oh man, that's amazing. Can I ask who your current agent is?
I'm with Maddie Belton at Madeline Milburn. It's a UK agency.
I know I've heard a lot of really great things about Madeline Milburn, the
Yeah, I think it's a
agencies.
great agency in general, and Maddie is just like a fantastic agent.
That's awesome. Um, yeah, that's so fun. I have a book on sub right now, and sometimes I'll be like imagining like, what if I get like the phone call while I'm out and about, and then I just like start tearing up, and I'm like, Karis, calm down. It hasn't happened yet. Like you can't cry happy tears yet.
I kind of love that though. It's like it's
No, it's like I have
justification.
to prepare myself.
I
But
feel
when I
like
did,
I feel like I'm
sorry.
usually the opposite, where it's like I go on anxiety spirals if I'm.
Oh no, I flip back and forth between the two very quickly and violently sometimes. But it's like I remember recently, I think it was because there's like situations where it's like it would be so cool to get the call like while I'm out with friends or like at the launch at the panel that I did on Tuesday with Nat and Cami. I was like, and then imagine like my phone lights up and it's my agent, and then I just start crying in front of it, and I was like, okay. And I'm like 3 hours before I'm like tearing up happy tears, and I was like, you've got to stop. Like, you can't happy cry over something that hasn't happened yet. Um, but that was a fun day anyway. So yeah. Um, okay, so we are at the toast portion, which even though I said we had mimosas earlier, we have to have like champagne or something now. It can be a non-alcoholic if we prefer. It could be apple juice, which frankly, hot take, apple juice tastes so much better than champagne.
I'm
Not a
not a fan
champagne
of
fan.
either, so
Oh no. Well, you'll find something. We'll get you something to drink at the metaphorical brunch.
you can go with tea.
Um, okay, perfect. But I would love to know if you have a soapbox, and it doesn't have to be related to publishing, it can be just like about anything in life. If there's just anything where you're like, I gotta rant about this.
Oh gosh. um, I mean, I don't know if we want to go here. I have a lot of thoughts
Oh.
about cats.
Wait, cats?
Yeah, like outdoor versus indoor cat.
Oh yeah, go for it because I
Yeah.
also have feelings.
Yeah. So my soapbox about cats is that if you love your cat, they should be an indoor cat. Like absolutely, like no questions. Yeah, I see people will take their cats out on leashes and stuff sometimes, or have them
Mm,
in the catio, and that's fine. But like
hmm.
both for the cat's health, because like I think the average age or lifespan for an indoor cat is like 15 years or so, and for an outdoor cat
Hmm.
it's about 5.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, just because there's all the health issues, there's the parasites, there's obviously getting hit by
Yeah.
cars and stuff, and then on top of that obviously there's all of the ecological damage that they do because they kill so many wildlife. And
Right.
it's not their fault, obviously. Like, I love cats, I have a cat, but
Yeah.
they should not be out there like being little murder machines.
Little murder machines is actually so perfect because they are like the deadliest feline
Yeah, yeah, they are.
and or animal.
Yeah, and
Not my cat.
it
My cat
confuses
is
me. It confuses me so much when people are like, I really like care about the environment, so therefore like I'm worried about like windmills killing birds, but they let their cat
but they let
outside.
the cat kill birds. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's fair. Yeah, I think sometimes I think about like I live in Brooklyn and there are some apartments. A lot of buildings actually have like backyard spaces for the ground floor. And I'm like, what if I like moved into a ground floor unit? And I'm like, no, my anxiety would be sky high all the time. I'd be like, if someone let that door open and my cat got outside, I would actually probably have a heart attack.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Um,
point.
yeah, I'm like, if we ever do have a backyard and she wants to go out there, she needs a harness and a leash. Like that's the only way she gets to leave the house. And my cat is very timid and shy, so like who knows if she would even want to go outside. Like she's there's a reason they came up with the term scaredy cat, and I think it was prophetic, and they knew that Lizzie would one day come into existence. So, yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure
that's
my cat would survive about 5 minutes outdoors. She has a disability, so she's like very wobbly.
oh yeah. Oh, poor thing. Yeah.
And she's also
Yeah,
really tiny.
yeah, hard to be a wobbly cat outside, yeah. Also, we have like raccoons in Brooklyn. One has come like all the way up to our front door of our apartment building, and it's like let's just keep the cat like inside.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
that's my soapbox. I can live perfectly fulfilling and happy and much, much longer lives indoors.
That's wild about the like 15 years versus 5. Like I knew that being like a wild cat, like a stray or feral cat, like is not a recipe for longevity, but that's like a very drastic
Yeah, it's shocking.
difference. Yeah. Poor things. Now I want to go rescue all the cats that live under the cars, but
Yeah, I have
I
this
don't
problem
think.
too. I've been known to, try and catch feral cats and especially
Yeah.
kittens.
Yeah, it's hard though.
It is.
I know because of one time someone tried to take us on a cat rescue mission and they absolutely failed. And it was just like 2 hours of standing in a backyard watching men like run around trying to catch a bunch of kittens.
Yeah, there was a time like maybe like 5 years ago. I spent like a
Hmm.
week basically camped out with like a live trap,
Oh,
hunting these two
wow.
feral kittens.
Did you get them?
I did get them, yeah.
Nice.
I also got a large opossum, which was not very happy.
Oh, shit. That's so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah, I came out to check it, and there's like a massive possum hissing at me.
Yeah, I bet. He was like, bitch, I know you didn't do that to me. Like, that's so funny. All right. Do you have any exciting news and or updates that your readers slash fans might be interested in knowing?
Yeah, so I mentioned the book that I have coming out in August, so that's the
Yeah.
next thing. I have two 2027 releases. So I have another adult fantasy rom-com called The Bookbinder and the Thief that's coming out in
Ooh.
February. And then I have my young adult, the first in the series, coming out in May. So it's called This Treacherous Night. And I
Awesome.
guess one other thing that I should probably start announcing at some point soon is I am planning to make a free novella available for my newsletter subscribers later this year.
Oh,
So
sweet.
it's a like historical fantasy novella set in an alternate version of the Gold Rush, and I think it's fun. It's a fast
Hmm.
read. It's only like 80 pages, but anyone who signs up for my newsletter will get that for free.
Amazing. Which segues so perfectly into the last question, which is just like, where can readers find you on the internet and how can they best support you?
I'm M Stevenson Books everywhere. So, website,
Hmm.
Instagram. I don't have any other socials anymore because I shut all those down, which is better for my mental health.
Real. Yeah. And they can sign up for your newsletter and get the novella. They can find that from your website, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay.
It's at Beehive, so it's mstevensonbooks.beehive.com.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today on this final episode of season 1 of Publishers Brunch.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was awesome. Bye. All right, my loves, that is all for this season of Publishers Brunch. Keep an eye out on the socials and on Instagram for August when I'm going to start announcing new guests and new episodes. And go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is just at Karis S. Elizabeth. I'm going to start posting more YouTube videos in addition to podcast videos. And I am really excited about everything that is to come. And I'm really grateful if you've spent any time with me over the past, what is it, 7 months? Yeah, over the past 7 months. I'm really grateful to you and thank you so much for spending your Sundays with me. Go ahead and order Stevenson's books. You can order Behooved, it's out now. You can pre-order her book that comes out in August, which is the debut year guide, and go ahead and follow her online and just keep up with what she's doing. You can order Nat and Cammy's guide to running an undercover GSA. You don't even have to pre-order it. If you're in New York, you can go to Books of Wonder. There should be signed copies. And then if you're in Brooklyn on July 18th, I haven't announced this on socials yet, but I will be doing a panel, queer YA panel at Hive Mind Books in Bushwick. So come out for that as well. Love you. Bye.